Hey everybody, Tracy Brown here. And again, I know not everybody watches these videos on the same day. So it's a Friday, it's the weekend. It is, can you hear that? It's thundering. It's getting ready to storm here in Florida as usual on a summer day, almost summer day. So I'm here. I look like I've been out in the hot and humid because I have. It's hot because it's getting ready to rain. So if you hear stuff in the background, we're going to keep going with it as long as it's not so loud that you can't hear me. So let's see what happens. Anyway, I want to talk about, I remember when, I was, working my way out of every day, all day long, conscious restricting or binging, is that I had this idea. I didn't really think I was addicted to dessert, but I just thought definitely there was something wrong with me that I couldn't. Why can't I just not want it every day? I got mad at myself a lot. Why can't you just not want dessert? And partially because I had a lot of healthism because I was in school and there are for nutrition and dietetics. Hi, Christina. And I just had this idea that you weren't supposed to eat that because that's what I was taught, which was really interesting because I didn't really have those thoughts before I went to school. Even in the worst times of my eating disorder, when I still lived at home, I grew up in a family that had dessert around every day. Like we had a huge tin. I don't know. I can't really describe how tall it was. It was huge, of like either of Oreos or a mix of Oreos and these yellow sandwich cookies. And we also had a gallon, jug or whatever of vanilla ice cream in our house 24/7. I don't remember a time growing up where that wasn't in the house. And that was the baseline, let alone other things if we baked, I grew up in the country, so we did a lot of cooking ourselves, just because that's just how both sides of my parents' generations grew up. So we had pie or cookies or cake or something around all the time. Really, it was not a big deal. And, my dad didn't have any eating issues, and unless my mom was on a diet, she ate that stuff regularly too and didn't really talk about it. Oh my gosh, dessert was forbidden. So we're going to talk about two different scenarios. Is I didn't grow up with forbidden dessert, but once I started getting locked into trying to change my body, diet culture says that dessert is forbidden, and that's where I got that from. So whether we were raised with it or we learned it, I learned that again when I was 16. So I had like a foundation of it not being a big deal. It became one later. So thank you everybody for joining right now. This is awesome. I appreciate it. So we're going to talk about dessert. You may have seen the caption above, so we're going to talk about that. So I thought I had a problem with dessert. And many of you know that it's actually not the dessert that's the problem, it's our beliefs and our restriction of dessert. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the bottom line is that if you're a person really struggling with dessert, whether it's the amount or the frequency, there's probably a couple different issues. It's definitely it's our belief system about it. Meaning, if you believe it's bad, it's up on a pedestal that unless we take it off its high horse, essentially, and make it just protein, carbs, and fat, like everything else, it's going to be special. So there's that one part. And then the second part is if we're calorically restricting in any kind of way, yes, I know, the beliefs are the problem, 100%. The beliefs are the problem. Okay, Christina put it out there. We're going to say yes to that. And there's thunder and lightning going around me. So if you hear that, I won't stop this video unless the rain gets too hard here on the concrete beside me. So let's come back to the belief that if we believe that it's bad for whatever reason you've ever learned, and it's somehow magical weight gain food, or it's somehow magical this will make me unhealthy food, then we're going to struggle with it. That's just how it is. We're going to try to get away from it. We're going to obsess about it. We're going to spend too much money on it when we are not letting ourselves have it. And so that's just how it's going to go. Secondly, if you have a calorie deficit of any kind, what's going to happen is that our bodies are always going to want higher energy dense food. It doesn't care about the nutrient density at that point. Honestly, if you're too hungry or if you've been calorie depleted for any number of days in a row or weeks in a row or months in a row or your whole lifetime in a row, you're going to be more just pulled towards energy dense foods. And what are those? It's going to be at the end of the day, if you're at a deficit of any kind, whether it's a little one or a huge one, you don't think at 10 o'clock at night, gosh, I really could eat some edamame right now, right? We're eating energy dense stuff, usually with some kind of higher density carbs or fat or some kind of combination of both. And those usually end up being dessert foods of some kind. And so we're going to want them for the energy deficit reason. We're also going to want them for the mental deficit reason of, oh my goodness, all day long I've been good. And, it's just one of those things that by the end of the day, when you're tired and you don't have as much distraction, your level of quote unquote willpower is just going to be gone. We can only suppress our needs, our wants, our desires for so long. That's just how it goes. And so those all go back to belief systems. And I'm going to talk about what I did about it in a little bit. So those are your big things. So the belief system about if you think it's good or bad, you're going to make it more special. And when you get around it, it's going to be hard not to want to eat it. I haven't talked about the emotional part yet, so that's 3. The other part is any kind of deficit of energy need not being met, we're going to go towards higher energy food. That's just how it is. You can't control that. That's nothing wrong with you. That's just biology. Not your fault. The third thing around dessert is that, if we have a relationship with those certain desserts, that it doesn't mean it's bad or problematic. It just is that, like, if you have a special if there is a coupling with a certain kind of food, whether it's cookies, ice cream, pie, cotton candy, funnel cakes, no matter what it is, thanks Christina, that if there's some kind of coupling with either a good experience or a not good experience, and we are in our present 2018 or whatever year is happening, if there's some kind of experience that mirrors that's unresolved, we might go to that food. And it can be triggered by the deficit, or it could just be triggered by inside of us, like we're just feeling like so much and we feel like we're crawling out of our skin. And especially if we have a hard time with getting our needs met, or feel like that there's something there to know who we are or where we stand emotionally, we might go towards that food. So that's a little harder one to kind of sometimes we can, but not always do on our own to uncouple and unhook all of that. But it's all real. It's not just you making it up that you feel like that there's something in you that's super hungry that you can't fill. That's real, but it might not be the 2018 version of you. It could be, the 2002 or the 1996 or the 1979 or the 1963 version of you that's coupled with, that needs a lot of your care and attention. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So what do we do about all these things? So I'm just going to give you a couple of things because I can't make this video too long for 2 reasons. It's getting ready to rain really, really hard. And number 2, I got to pick up my kiddo from camp. So what we need to think about is permission and not faux permission. I see this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again for the last 12 years. And I did the same thing too. Oh, I can have dessert, but it can be just 2 cookies at dinner. That's it. And if you've seen any of the rest of my videos, I talk about sometimes we're going to have to be a little extreme with like full permission. So we got to bring food in our house. We've got to let ourselves have it. So for me, basically the bottom line it came down to, I'm thinking about dessert all the time. Can't stop thinking about it. And that happened to me because I was, trying to heal some years of like deprivation, like food, like actually energy deprivation, as well as the emotional, like it's okay for me to get my needs met. I deserve to have the food I would be, that would be satisfying. And the 3 had to get through a lot of healthism. And taking risk with that. So again, lots of other videos about that I've already done in the past. So go check those out. They're pretty updated on YouTube if you want a little easier way to find everything. Otherwise, everything's on my my Facebook page, this business page here. So permission, real true permission. And for me, for a while, that meant permission to have dessert twice a day if I need to make all that food less special. If you're in a position where you feel like, Tracy, if I do that, it's not going to stop. I can't find the bottom. Then I highly suggest that you do these. I talked about this in the videos too. You've got to find a way to start doing 2 things. Having this food out and practicing slowing down and finding that edge of fullness and satisfaction. And you might need to do that out at restaurants with trusted people, and just keep practicing it. And really, 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 I need you to be decoding like what you feel like you're trying to get from this food from a taste, a sensory perspective. You gotta slow it down as much as possible. If you spend an hour trying to like a craving for something and your energy needs are met, and that's another thing, if your energy needs aren't met, this is going to be difficult to know like what's biological, backlash, and what is healthism backlash, and then what is the emotional connection and peace with this. So it all takes investigative work. I can help people do that lickety split within an hour, figure some of that stuff out. Different kind of foods and scenarios and all that. But I highly suggest you get out your pen and paper and start decoding stuff for yourself. My decoding sheets are getting loud. I'm sorry, guys. My decoding sheets, I'm going to go inside. My decoding sheets might be helpful for that as well if you don't already have them. And they're on my free gift. I'll post it down below if you want it. Yikes, it's dark. See how dark it's getting? I have to turn my lights on here. Sorry, guys. Okay, it's better. Decoding sheets would be really helpful. So there's that. There's healing the energy deficit, full permission to eat, and you might have to do that out with people if that's not feeling safe for you to do with yourself. Or even I do meal sessions as well if that might be helpful to work on that and decode some of that. Is there any last thing I want to say about how to heal that? It just takes time, lots of practice, and we've got to get our foots out. I'm sorry. It is, again, that's how dark it is outside here, guys. It's really raining. That's how important this is. We've got to get to the place where we have really full and true permission, not fake permission. Otherwise, we're going to get stuck in this kind of looping of like, I can do it, and then sometimes I feel out of control. If you're looping of times of, sometimes I can do it, and sometimes I can't, we've got something hooked with these foods or dessert or a relationship with our bodies and these beliefs about good food, bad food, or our weight that we've got to unhook to like make these foods less special. So I'm hoping this video was helpful. I jammed in probably about 3 or 4 hours worth of like idea I jammed a bunch of stuff into a really fast video. So hopefully it was helpful. I hope you guys have a great weekend. If you've experimented with these things, let me know what's worked or what hasn't worked. I'd love to hear about it. And take a risk, you guys. Don't be afraid. Or you can be afraid, but know that like the risks are worth the information and the feedback you're gonna get. So thank you so much for watching. I deeply appreciate it. Share this video with people you think might help them. And until next time, have a good weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.